Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode, and in this episode we're going to talk about how Bitcoin is better than real estate. So let's jump right in. The best way for me to explain it would be to give an analogy. So have you ever noticed when you were a little kid, when you were just growing up, and in my case we grew up riding what's called big wheels. It's a little plastic wheels. There's 3 wheels on it, 1 in the front, 2 on the side, and you sit on it and pedal with your feet, and you go around and zoom around. You don't go very fast, but it's pretty fun as a kid. We used to even slide when we went fast enough, so it was pretty cool. Well, to me, that was the best form of transportation when I was a little kid. Then, after that, I rode a bicycle, and a bicycle became the best. And then I rode a moped, or some people call them a scooter. And then I thought that was the coolest and the best way to travel. After that, I drove a car. And then after that, I flew in an airplane. Okay, so you never really know how good something is until you experience something better. Well, Bitcoin and real estate is no different. So I'm going to cover with you today 8 reasons why Bitcoin is much better than real estate. Reason number 1. No property taxes. Bitcoin does not have property taxes like a house does. Have you ever heard the stories of, hey, Sue lost the farm because she couldn't afford to pay the taxes? Okay, that happens with houses and buildings as well. There's a whole tax lien, buying someone's tax lien and then trying to buy their house as a result of it. There's a whole market for that. So taxes, property taxes are a big deal in real estate, and Bitcoin, which is property, does not have property tax. Okay, so that's the first reason. Okay, I'm going to cover 8 today. The second reason is a big one in real estate, and that's maintenance costs and repair costs. Things break down in homes, in buildings, warehouses, condos. Things break down, and you have to allocate a certain percentage of your income coming in goes to repair cost and maintenance. With Bitcoin, there is none. Okay, so that's huge. That's another big savings. Think about if someone went to sell you a property and they said, hey, I have a property here. You never have to pay property tax and you never have to pay maintenance tax. Would you think that property would be worth a lot more? Of course it would. Okay, and that's Bitcoin. So that's 2 reasons. The first reason was, again, no property tax. Second reason was maintenance repair costs. The third reason, which is one of my favorites, is have you ever had a house or been in a house or apartment where there's flooding or water damage or perhaps a fire? Have you ever heard of a building being struck by lightning? Okay, these are all things that can damage your property. Bitcoin is indestructible. Okay, you don't need insurance on it for acts of God or hail damage or storms, hurricanes. You don't have to worry about that with Bitcoin because it's indestructible. So that's a big one. So that's the third reason. The fourth reason is Bitcoin is teleportable. Let's say you had a nice Airbnb property in Florida and the Super Bowl came to Chicago. Okay, wishful thinking, right? And the Bears were playing, although the Bears aren't very good. But let's say the Bears were in the Super Bowl and you wanted to come to Chicago because of the Super Bowl and you wanted to teleport your house, your Airbnb, because you could rent it out at a much higher price. Well, you can't do that. Okay, if your Airbnb is in Florida, then that's where it is. Well, that's not true with Bitcoin. You can move your Bitcoin, you can teleport it anywhere in the world for basically hardly any cost. It's very inexpensive, okay, to do it. So that's huge. Just think of people in war-torn countries, people who have to flee and pick up and leave. Think if they had Bitcoin, they could bring it with them. Okay, where a lot of them have to leave their wealth in that country. Okay, so that's food for thought. Okay, teleportable. That's the fourth reason. The fifth reason, air rights, or the ability to build on top of your real estate. You can't do that everywhere. There's lots of different laws that prohibit you from building on top of your property, okay? Or you can only build to a certain height. With Bitcoin, you don't have that. You have what's called Lightning Network, which is built on top of Bitcoin. You may have heard the term layer 2s or layer 3s. These are things, apps, programs, businesses being run on top of Bitcoin. So you do have that ability, okay? That's huge, huge, huge thing. That's point number 5. Point number 6, Bitcoin is divisible, okay? What that means to everyone is Bitcoin goes out 8 decimal places, okay? So it truly is something for everyone in the world. Over 8 billion people, we all have a problem. We have a money problem, okay? The money of the world is broken, and Bitcoin can fix it. And I do mean almost anyone, can buy Bitcoin because it's divisible to 8 decimal places. Okay, the furthest one out is called a Satoshi. Okay, so, and what I did as a fun experiment to prepare for this interview, what I did is I wanted to see on Cash App what's the smallest amount I could buy. So what I did was I purchased $1 worth of Bitcoin. Okay, and I'm looking at the receipt here. It says the Bitcoin amount is 0.00001418 of a Bitcoin. Okay, that's $1 worth. My total purchase price was 97 cents, and 3 cents went to the fees of Cash App. Okay, so I just proved it. Okay, anyone can buy Bitcoin as long as you have Cash App or use another means. But I just bought $1 worth. Okay, now in real estate, can you go to a very expensive property in Manhattan or here in Chicago downtown and say, you know what, I want to buy $1 worth of your property there? Okay, you can't do that. Imagine you have a $1 million home and you want to sell $10 worth of your home. Can you do that? No, you can't. Okay, so that's another reason why Bitcoin is more valuable than real estate. That's reason number 6. Reason number 7 is you can morph Bitcoin into something else. Okay, imagine that that Super Bowl's coming to Chicago again, and you have an Airbnb in Florida, and you want to morph it into a parking lot because parking in downtown Chicago, it's hard to get, especially when there's big events. So if you could morph your property and sell those parking spaces for a lot more than you normally could, wouldn't that be great? Well, you can't do that because your building isn't morphable, if that's a word. But Bitcoin is. You have Bitcoin, which people initially started to use it as money or as to transact value. It's also used to store value. It's also now being used with the invention of the EFTs that BlackRock did. You're now able to take options out on Bitcoin, and you can borrow against Bitcoin. So all these different things you can do, Bitcoin is morphing into more and more and more things. Okay, that's reason number 7. Reason number 8, which is my favorite reason, is Bitcoin is scarce. There's only 21 million Bitcoin that will ever be made. Right now, there's about 19 million that are quote, quote, available and mined and in circulation, about 19 million. The other 2 will be mined over the next 100 or so years, okay? Of the 19 million, some of them are lost or stolen, and the majority of them people already bought, and they're holding on to them. They're not selling them. So you only have about, now the numbers vary, but it's somewhere around 4 million available Bitcoin. Some people say 3 to 4 million that's available to be purchased. Okay, so Bitcoin is the most scarce resource on the planet. Okay, so that gives it tremendous value. Okay, imagine having a housing complex or a certain type of house. Imagine being able to say, okay, this house is now scarce. There will never ever in the history of the or history of the future, that's, never ever in the future will there be any more of this specific kind of house. You can't say that, okay, because someone can always build a similar type of house or that house. Okay, you can't do that with Bitcoin. It's capped. So that gives it tremendous value. And then the other bonus reason, past number 9, that I just thought was important to mention, is the fact that there's no one regulating, meaning there's no one controlling Bitcoin. The inventor of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto, he invented it. We don't know if that's even his real name. Okay, this person or people invented Bitcoin, and then they set it free to the world. Okay, so no one is running it, no one is changing it at the moment, no one is managing it, and no one can tamper with it, which is really important. So it can be trusted. Okay, so that's the biggest thing. And with real estate, that's not the case. People are always tampering with real estate. So I hope you found those 8 reasons plus my bonus 9th reason valuable and food for thought. I encourage you all to do your own research on Bitcoin because, again, I'm trying to show you here how valuable Bitcoin is, how scarce it is, and how it's something that's available for everyone. All 8 billion people on the planet need better money, incorruptible money. That's what Bitcoin brings. Okay, so let me know your thoughts on any other reasons or any other ways you think Bitcoin is better than money. I'd like to hear those below. Until next time, please hit like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you all on the next one. Take care.